We're also going to dissect literally every time, whether it's Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Tee Higgins, whether it's Duke Tobin, anyone in the front office, any social media intern that puts out a hype video, anyway, and that's not fair. I think they have professional people that build those videos, so that's a little disrespectful, but you know what I mean. So anytime these guys say anything or put any content out, we're going to over dissect it, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. So Tee Higgins was out and about this past weekend, and Joe Danneman with Cincinnati's local Fox station, Fox 19, had a chance to catch up with Tee Higgins and kind of ask, get his side. Joe Burrow's been all over the place, doing media hits. We're hearing a lot about them, but what about what Tee Higgins has to say? We put a lot of emphasis into the fact that he switched agents. We thought, okay, there's something there. Maybe he didn't like the messaging of his previous agent, and maybe this is a guy that's going to represent him, that's going to allow a little flexibility to help the Bengals and him win. I don't know what to feel about this or you guys. Here's the clip, Tee Higgins talking about his future in Cincinnati and the upcoming offseason that will dictate his future plans. Take a look.
Joe said that you guys have had discussions as a group about staying together. Is he correct that you guys have actually talked about this in a future where not just you, Jamar, and Joe, but also Trey all stay Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, of course. We all want to, keep the core pieces what it is. Even with Mike Gesicki, that's a core piece as well. So obviously we want to build something here in Cincy, but it's not in my hands right now. So I got to do what I need to do, and if that's go to another team, and that's what happens. So.
Well, a lot of Bengals fans will be watching this, T, and they all want you to stay. You know that. What is your priority when it comes to this offseason in finding the best fit for you and your future?
Right now, I'm just trying to stay away from it right now and, clear my head, get away from the game, especially after tonight. Clear my head, get away from the game for a few weeks, and then obviously in March, that's when things start ramping up for me with the free agency coming up. And then, obviously, I would love to be here in Cincinnati. I love it here. I love the city. I love the fans. I love the, coaching staff, everything in the building. But hey, it's not in my control.
Screams, I want to come back. They're not paying me.
That's what
that video screams.
That's what I read into it too. I think if you watch the video, it's like it's almost like the answer is already out there, and we're just waiting for the ball to drop. That's what I got from it. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good. My only argument against myself would be they are going to look so bad if they don't bring one of them back. They are going to look so bad. And it's going to be bad for Joe Burrow. It's going to be bad for the Browns. It's going to be bad for the Blackburns. It's going to be bad for Tobin. It's going to be bad if you don't bring one of them back. And I don't understand, if you have the ability to do it, why you don't do it. I don't get it. And if somebody smarter than me would like to explain it to me, that's great. I don't understand it. You can't draft. You've shown it. You're not very good at hitting free agents, if we're going to be honest. You've shown it. So you have two guys that are stars at their positions. You have the finances to do so. Bring them back. Make your quarterback and your fan base happy. It's a no-brainer for me, and I got a bad vibe from watching that. That was the first time I've seen that clip. I got a bad vibe from watching that one.
The Eagles just hoisted the Lombardi Trophy, paying Hurts $52 a year, A.J. Brown $32 a year, Devontae Smith $26 a year, 2 offensive linemen more than 20, an edge rusher 17, a tight end 15, and 2 corners over 13. That doesn't even mention Saquon Barkley at $11.5 million.
Yep.
It's 100% doable. You just have to fit in the draft, and you can't be doing contracts like it's the 80s anymore. You have to be flexible. You have to be creative, and you can get it done. There is no excuse financially.
Yeah, I found it telling when and by the way, that's good. Joe asked him good questions too, because when he said, well, what are you prioritizing this offseason? I thought that was a hell of a question, because it wasn't a trick question. It wasn't trying to put him on the spot, but not in a bad way. But it was like, okay, what are you prioritizing? Are you prioritizing being a part of something? Because he's said in the past the importance of playing with a quarterback like Joe Burrow, how important that is. So are you prioritizing fit, or are you prioritizing dollars? And let's be clear, I don't like when we do that to athletes, where we act like, you can't have both. I mean, he could fit elsewhere. He could fit in Washington. He could fit in with the Chargers. He could fit in a lot of places and get his money. But I thought the fact that he didn't just say, hey, I want to go with the highest bidder. He can't say that. So he just said, hey, I'm not thinking about it. I think he got his point across, though. I think he let it be known. It's not up to me. And that it has to be right. I think it was just a very telling clip. So I think between that and between that hype video, so at the hype video, I'm like, all right, I'm overthinking this. I don't think anyone's overthinking anything. That hype video said he's not part of, the important offseason coming up. Well, he's not a part of it, or he is, just not in the way that a lot of Bengals fans want. So between that hype video and the lack of inclusion of him in there, and of course that complimentary piece by Joe Danneman again with Fox in Cincinnati, Danneman, I don't feel good about T's future in Cincinnati moving forward, but we'll see. Welcome to the offseason.
They're gonna look so bad. They're gonna look so bad.
They're going to look so bad if it doesn't work. If they bring Trey back and they let T walk and they invest in the defense and the Bengals have a top 10 defense next year and the offense falls to the 8th or 9th and they go and win 2 playoff games because the defense is great, then they're not going to look bad. But if the offense takes a step back and the defense gets to league average and you don't do anything because the offense isn't good enough, that's when they start to look terrible.
Yep. That was the point I was going to say as well. I think that if they don't extend T or keep T, I don't think that's the final. I don't think that's the point of judgment. I think there's a 2-part equation here. I think that's the first part of the equation, not bringing T back, but what do you do with the money that you don't give to T? That let's say $30 million a year. Where's that $30 million a year going? How are you using that to disperse throughout the roster to bulk it up? I think it's a 2-part judgment. The judgment point of letting him go is going to be significant, but I do, like you said, if a year from now we see the balanced roster, if there's the offense takes a little bit of a hit, but the defense takes a rise and they're more of a balanced team. I mean, let's be real. That we just watched, a very, very, the team that won last night, the most balanced team in football. If the 49ers are healthy, that's one of the most balanced teams in football. That was the team that was in the Super Bowl last year. Even when the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl, it was a balance of offense and defense, not statistically from the whole year, but from that run in the playoffs. Balance is key. They are not balanced right now. And if they feel that the money that goes to T helps them balance what they have with Trey Hendrickson on defense, maybe that's the key to success moving forward. But they have to draft well. They have to do well in free agency. It's going to be drama, though, no matter what decision they make.
Oh, yeah.
I do like that most people that are in the team, you got to let T walk, you got to spend the money elsewhere, are also saying that you need to use every draft pick and dollar you have on defense. Those two things are antithetical to each other. If you let Tee Higgins walk, a top 3 need this offseason is wide receiver. Maybe number 1 need.
I'd argue number 1, but and people you don't have right now. You don't have a pass catching tight end, and you don't have a number 1 wide receiver. If you let Gesicki and T go, that you're setting yourself up for failure. I know Patrick Mahomes. I know good quarterbacks have been able to do it without 2 elite guys. I'm not saying that Joe Burrow isn't capable of doing it. I'm saying why would you do it to him if you have the ability to not do it?
The other thing is everyone says if you're going to pay these guys top of the market value, you have to draft well. And the Bengals can't draft well, so you shouldn't pay these guys top of the market value. I would argue if you can't draft well, that's more of a reason to not let your very few draft hits leave the building.
Yeah.
Well, what makes you think they can just all of a sudden draft well to replace the guys that they've shockingly hit on? Fall into their lap in a lot of these cases. So I don't think you can let these guys go just because the Bengals haven't drafted well. I actually think that's a reason to re-sign these guys.